Hello, good evening. Welcome to Purna Talks. So far we have learned how do we think critical and how do we learn in a fast technique, and we have also learned how do we effectively create the goals using 3M technology. So today we are going to learn about how do we effectively create the notes using 5R techniques. So in the past, in our videos, in the sessions like how do we learn the fast technique, we understood that the fast means F means the forget about your limitations, A means the active learning, and S means having to have a very good state, and T means the teach others. So in that, the one of the most important factor is the A, which means the active learning. So the effective notes taking is part and parcel of your active learning. So what do you do as part of the effective note taking? So what is the importance of this effective note taking is that, in our legacy state, we always our state is always, our situation is always like, passively we learn and we take the notes, and we by heart, and sometimes we always, our tendency is always that we miss the information, and we fail to understand the important aspect of the information, even though we write it, but we fail to understand, and we fail to extract the essence of out of the information that we put into our notes, which is always used to be a legacy mode. So there is a way, like, they there is a one technique called the Cornell effective note taking systems. Okay, it is also a kind of a 5R approach. So using which, let us discuss about what is the effectiveness of this 5R taking, because as I said, the effective note taking system is also a vital role in terms of your active learning. Okay, or if you wanted to learn anything in a better mode, or if you wanted to always capture the information in an effective way, or if you wanted to effectively recall, okay, it is very essential for us to have this kind of an effective note taking system. In one way, this is also a kind of a developing the system which can act like a your second brain. Okay, so if you wanted to develop such kind of a system or second brain, it is always important for us to focus on each and every page in a structured manner. Okay, so in that way, you can always be uh, grasp that information on that particular point on the topic, and be able to uh, enlarge, okay, your pages to kind of entire concepts to the situations, right, that book. So let us deep dive into what exactly the meaning of these Cornell methods, and then we will discuss further. Maybe I can next take you, I'll just put one screenshot, or I'll share the screen, and then we can discuss on this. So if you can see my screen, so you can see this keywords, like the Cornell notes, like this is kind of a one page, and you have one big eye. Okay, it look like a big eye. So you leave out the first part. This is kind of a preface, or it's kind of a introduction, that this one. Like, I have also given you the another video, which is the goals, right? Okay, if you wanted to create, whether it is a tiny goal or it is a bigger goal, you need to have such kind of a thinking always, that methodology always, like, you need to first understand what the content and what is your thought process about that content, that is called mind. And the most important thing, you need to have the purpose in your in your so you need that purpose should be there. That's called the motivation. Okay. And similarly, you also need to have these methodologies in your situation, right? Like the methodologies. So this mind methodologies, I mean, sorry, the mind, the motivation, and the methodologies. Okay. So using which you can be able to have the a proper understanding on what is your thinking about the notes and why you are creating the notes. First of all, you need to understand the purpose, and now you need to also understand the methodologies. What are the various ways that you can create the note affecting systems, right? So in that purpose, so this is nothing but a purpose. And what is the main motive of writing this particular information? So this is called the preface or the purpose or the main theme of the section of this. And then this one, the middle section, we can divide into two parts. Okay. So the left part, we leave it out, and the right part, we kind of, what we do here, we kind of creating the record. Okay, like whatever the, let's say for example, whatever the information that you understand, let's say in the classroom or anything, like if you read the or view the video or something, you start writing your information. That's called a record. You record the information in the right side. That is called the record. Okay, so the step one, the step one, the first R is nothing but record. So you are putting enter the information here is the right side. This is called the record. You're recording the entire information as name suggests. And once the your written up is completed in the right side, okay, write up is completed in the right side, based upon the content, now you need to reduce in the sense, you need to concise the information using some kind of a uh, techniques like acronyms, or using some kind of keywords or mnemonics, or some kind of a visual data, visual representations, whatever. What do you feel is the correct way? Basically, you need to encapsulate the information. Okay, this is nothing but a reduction of the information, because we always wanted to keep that information like a capsule. Okay, so, and that will always be useful for us to carry the more weightage with respect to the information. So we keep that information like in encapsulated mode. That is called the reduce. So you use right side, whatever you record, you reduce using your encapsulated mode. So once both steps are done, you need to go for the recite. Recite in the sense, you are reciting the information uh, like based upon the data that you have in the record, and based upon the mnemonics or acronyms or the visual representation, whatever the encapsulated form that you have. So using that, you are reciting the entire information with your own words. And the once you are reciting with your own words, then automatically there will be many questions that will be formed in your mind. So you take up that questions and still write onto the left side. Okay. So the left side is always you use it for a kind of your understandings. Okay. Or your acceleratory things, or your keywords, your mnemonics, your acronyms, your questions, your understandings, everything in the left side you can write it. And the right side is all about the core raw data. So once you get your questions, uh, uh, obviously there will be a questions that will be generated while you are reciting, and you will also obviously have to provide answers yourself for those questions. So in that way, you are strengthen your base with respect to that particular topic. Okay, that is called the recite, right? And with once you complete the recite, you will have a very good information, or in different ways. Okay, because you already know applied your own methodologies to how do we encapsulate the data, and how do we remember it, and how do we recite, and what are the questions that comes using which you are actually be able to have a very nice overview about the particular topic. That is where you are reflecting your information. That is nothing but your summary. So using your own words with whatever you learned so far, you are creating the summary. That is called the reflect. So once the reflect is something like a kind of a brief summary that whatever you understand so far, okay, completely with your understandings, with your reduce or with the record or with recite, you finally writing the summary. So once the summary is done, you will have to have a complete overview to see what is the relevance of your writing it up. Okay, sometimes you do it, but there might not be a logic when it comes to look at the overall picture. Okay, so the review is all about like whatever you do, your synopsis, okay, your overview, whether it really makes sense when it comes to attaching it to the whole system in the sense like, okay, on that matter for that subject you are reviewing one topic, and how this topic is getting appended to the overall system. Okay, how you are actually having this understanding and improve your overall system. Okay, so that is what actually the important review. There is also another R that I have not mentioned, that is called repeat. Okay, because it is said that some most of the percentage will be obviously be you know uh, tend to ignore after 2 days or 3 days. So always, if you wanted to have this kind of a kind of a long-term memory approach, you always have to repeat it or recall it. Okay, so in that way the topic will always be in your mind. So I would say it's kind of a 6R method. Okay, so record the data, reduce using the capsule mode, a kind of a capsule mode, recite with your own words using this capsule mode to the data, and then also answer the questions that comes as part of the recite, and then finally create the summary in the reflect phase, and then finally review the entire topic based upon your understandings, and see what is the any deductions or additions that needs to be done, and then finally repeat it, okay, to ensure that it is going to the long term memory. So in this way you will always have a structured approach whenever you are taking the notes. See, nowadays we understand that it is very difficult for us to have this paper-based note-taking systems. Nowadays, everything is digitalization. Of course, there are many varieties of digital system that is taking place. Okay, we have a very well standard related digital platforms are available. Even if you want, you can also obviously, if you are in the professionals, you can always use the Microsoft Notes. And obviously the Microsoft Notes is almost like this kind of approach. If you see the left side, you will have some kind of subheadings, and right side you will have so much data. But it's all up to like your choice, like based upon your thinking thought pattern, how what kind of a system that is going to be useful. But ultimately it is said that everyone has to have some kind of a system, note taking systems, which needs to be maintained mandatorily. Okay, whether it is taking a personal note taking system or professional note taking systems, one has to have such kind of a note taking systems established. Okay, so in that way, your mind will always be active, so that you don't need to worry about storing the huge amount of information in your mind. So your mind is always a free flowing and active mode, and it work like a the kind of a machine where always you have the confidence that the cold data will always be stored in your second brain, which is your note taking system, and can be retrieved at any moment. Once you know that that note taking system is very effective, and at any moment you will be able to retrieve that information. So it all depends on how effectively you create that note taking systems with different types of techniques. So I would suggest to see this kind of a structured based note taking system compared to the normal legacy based notes, to ensure that you will always be able to get the information, because it is said that it's not only to the effectiveness is not only about uh, dumping the information in the note, it is also about how effectively you are able to recall that information. So I hope this note taking systems using this Cornell methods, 6R method, is definitely useful for your note taking systems. And I always request you to think about developing such kind of effective note taking systems, and make sure it is kind of act like a second brain systems. And with that, we are I'm hopeful that we are going to look for some kind of another tip and tomorrow on. Thank you very much. Talk to you.